What if you could learn one set of skills that impacted your profit so much that it increased by 765%? That would be amazing, right? So increasing your profit by 7 times. Well, I'm going to talk to you about exactly what set of skills that is and how we help our clients accomplish this. So, at Tap the Potential, one of our hidden specialties is how we support our clients with their soft people skills as they are creating highly profitable, great places to work. That means creating environments that are engaging, that bring your A player employees together and want to do their best to support your best clients and customers. So that's what we're going to dive into today in our episode here on the Profit by Design podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Sabrina Starling. I'm the business psychologist, the founder of Tap the Potential, the author of How to Hire the Best and the 4-Week Vacation. And let's talk about creating a coaching culture that drives high performance and profitability in your business. So I think one of the things that we don't give enough attention to is the impact that our soft people skills have on our profit. And lately, I have been doing a number of profit assessments for our Ascension clients in our Better Business, Better Life program. Our Ascension clients are at our highest level in our program. They've been with us at least a year. Some of them have been with us multiple years. But what is really standing out to me is their profitability and the difference between when they started with us and where they are showing where they are right now with respect to hitting 10% and 15% profitability and paying the owners appropriately in the business, and how that change has happened over a year's time or even 2 years' time, because we have some that they've hit their target allocation percentages from Profit First, and they're continuing to improve. And what's so interesting about this is the ones that are just doing amazing and that have been doing amazing long term with respect to profitability have invested in their teams and through learning and creating a coaching culture. So at Tap the Potential, one of the courses we teach is the coach approach. And the coach approach is all about how do you create that coaching culture in your company that drives employee engagement and drives accountability. Accountability is it's a slippery slope for us business owners. We sometimes really struggle to hold teams accountable and make sure that people are doing and focusing on what we want them to focus on and following through. But that's a basic level of accountability. There's a much higher level of accountability, and that is where your A player team members take responsibility for figuring out how to deliver the key results you're asking them to deliver. And not only that, so there's the taking responsibility and how to deliver those results, but there is also that curiosity around how can I collaborate with the rest of the team and pull on the strengths of the rest of my team members to help us be more efficient and effective in serving our top clients overall. So it's not just hunkered down in their silo and looking at how they can do what they need to do, but it's this bigger picture perspective of how are we accomplishing the mission and vision for the team. And one of the things that I love about the Coach Approach course that we teach at Tap the Potential is it is designed for business owners and team members. And we see the best results when business owners go through it and have at least one or two team members in there with them, because again, there's more accountability for creating that coaching culture. But there is also a greater impact on the culture right away, because now you have at least two team members who are speaking this same language, this language around creating a safe, supported environment where we are going to be curious, where we avoid judging, and judging creates a lot of drama. So just an example of this, let's just pretend for a moment that one of your team members does something and it upsets one of your best clients and customers. And then that customer comes to you and makes a complaint. And then immediately you're like, what were they thinking? And then you go and have a conversation with that team member from that frame of mind. Well, that team member is going to see your anger, the fire in your eyes, right? That comes through, that energy comes through, and your team member is going to immediately get defensive and shut down, all because they are going into fight or flight mode. All of their creative problem solving is they're no longer able to access it. And you're just digging in like, what were you thinking? And how could you do this? And blah, 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 blah. On and on and on. And it just deteriorates from there. Versus a coaching culture where the customer comes to you, shares what happens, and you get curious immediately in that conversation. And you ask a lot of questions of the customer to understand more about what went on. And then you convey to the customer, this really surprises me. I need to go talk with our team and find out more about how this might have happened. And I will get back to you. And then instead of immediately going to the team member, you take some time to pause, breathe, check your reaction, and move from a place of judger to a place of curiosity. And approaching the team member from a more calm, neutral place and saying, hey, something happened and it really surprised me. The customer is telling me this or that. Tell me from your perspective how this unfolded. And then allowing that team member to share, and then inviting that team member into the problem solving and saying, okay, so I can see how this happened. We have an upset customer. What ideas do you have for how this might be resolved? And then allowing that team member to be a part of figuring out how this might be resolved. And it may even be that the team member goes back and has a conversation with the customer and addresses the issue. And they're able to do it from a calm, neutral mindset versus defensive, reactive, and everything settles down from there. And so that is just one interaction that can happen on a team. And when you take those kinds of interactions and you multiply them over the course of days, weeks, and years, and you see that you have better decision making and better problem solving, you have better relationships with your team members, you have less turnover because people feel safe and supported on the team, and your A players want to stay in a work environment where they feel safe and supported. You would be amazed when I talk to A players on other people's teams, what I hear about their experiences in the workplace, the things that they have encountered where they have been belittled, put down, degraded, not treated with respect. So at a basic level, when you have a coaching culture in your company and you treat your team members with respect, you are miles ahead with respect to retention. And retention is one of the when you have good retention, that has one of the greatest impacts on your profitability because employee turnover is so detrimental to your profitability. So just being able to retain your team members is going to impact your profitability. But when you have your A players asking, hey, from this role and using my strengths and other strengths that exist on this team, how can we serve our top customers better and better? That's where that micro innovation, which is step 3 in the Tap the Potential solution, that's where that starts to unfold. And it's the micro innovations that allow you to become more and more effective in what you're delivering to your clients and customers and become more unique in the marketplace, which allows you to stand out. It makes your company less sensitive to price pressure. And people are more willing to pay for the value that's being delivered through your company. So that's another area where a coaching culture really has a strong impact on profitability. So this figure, a 765% net income increase over the course of 11 years, comes from a Harvard study of over 200 companies in a variety of industries. And those with a strong culture experience that 765% increase in their net income over 11 years versus those that did not have a strong culture. In the course of the 11 years, they experienced a 1% increase in their net income. That is amazing, like the impact of a strong culture. So when we're talking strong culture, what were they looking at in this study? I want to share that with you. So that what is considered a strong culture is one that is customer focused. So what we teach you at Tap the Potential to focus on your top clients in the sweet spot. A culture that is open to change and innovation. Again, everything that I just talked about, where you're getting your A players to come together and look at how can we be nimble and flexible and adapt and serve our top clients and customers. And that openness to change and innovation comes about as the team members are really constantly engaging in conversations around how is the marketplace shifting? How is this impacting our top clients and customers? Those kinds of conversations are what's responsible for a business that's going to last and be able to weather changes in the economy and different market conditions that will happen over a period of time. Another aspect that they're looking at in the study of strong culture is employee engagement and accountability. So that's everything that is in a coaching culture. And then aligned values and behaviors with a long-term strategy. So everything we teach you at Tap the Potential in our Better Business, Better Life program around having a clear, compelling, vivid vision for your business, conveying that on a regular basis to your team members, and then inviting your team members into conversations about how they can further the vision from their role and designing their key performance indicator that they're responsible for aligned with the vision and the mission, and giving them responsibility for figuring out the best way to deliver that key performance indicator. And then the final component is strong visionary leadership. So this is where we're supporting you in the Better Business, Better Life program around creating a clear, compelling, vivid vision and making sure it gets conveyed to your team members. So many business owners have no vision. It's just you're in the survival trap, right? And you're trying to get by day to day. And that vision is not there for your team members. And so they don't really know why they're doing everything that they're doing or what direction the business is headed in. So in step 4 of the Tap the Potential solution, we're talking about building your lean and mighty team. And when you have a lean and mighty team of A players, you don't need as many A players on your payroll. So again, that makes your business more efficient. But so much of that efficiency comes from you, the business owner, having this clear vision and getting your A players paying attention to, what am I doing that doesn't support the vision? What can I stop doing? Where is all the extra energy and activity going that's not moving us in the direction of the vision? There's so much waste that happens in our small businesses. And when we get that clear vision in place, it's no longer just us, the business owner, who has the eye on how do we stop the waste of money, the waste of time, the waste of energy. But we have that opportunity to get the whole team involved in that. And for you as the business owner to have those coaching skills to know, how do you convey that vision? And then how do you ask the questions that invite your team members to step into helping you realize that vision? How do you hold accountability? And how do you have those difficult conversations when you have a very well-meaning A player on the team who keeps screwing something up? Like, how do you have that conversation? And those are the skills that we teach in Coach Approach. We teach you how to tap into the strengths of the different team members and get them working from their strengths. And all of this is soft people skills. And a lot of times we don't know what dollar value should we assign to learning and acquiring these soft people skills. That's why I love this Harvard study that shows the 765% return an increase in net income by putting attention on creating a strong culture. And I think one of the things that's really important for us small business owners to be aware of is that these are larger companies that were in the study. And you're a small business, you have much smaller teams, you have much greater opportunities for efficiency. It is very hard to create efficiency in a large company. The more people that you add, the more opportunities for waste. And if you've ever worked in a large company, you've probably looked around and you've seen wasted time and wasted energy and wasted resources everywhere. So us smaller companies have a greater opportunity to experience even more increase in our profitability from putting attention into the development of a coaching culture. And I often talk about the tipping point that starts to happen in your business when you have one or two A players and you may feel like I have 5 or 6 warm bodies and I need to get them replaced and get more A players on the team. When you get those A players operating from a coaching mindset, you are going to become much more attractive to other A players. A players want to work for a strong culture. And when people feel good about going to work and excited about what they're doing and take responsibility for the results that they're delivering, they are out there talking about what it's like to work for you because they're actually working for a place that's an anomaly. When they're talking with friends, their friends are grumbling about work and they're saying, I don't have any complaints. I actually had a pretty good day. I'm kind of tired. It was a busy day, but man, we made some big things happen. And that is energizing. So they're coming home and talking about what it's like to work for you to their family members and out in their social circles. That makes it easier for you to attract A players, which again ties into the profitability because the easier it is for you to get A players on your team, the easier it is for you to retain them. And as you start to grow, that becomes your number one job as the business owner is to recruit those A players to keep the company growing and serving your top clients and customers who love interacting with not just you, but your entire team because there's this great sense of alignment. So, one of the things that I want to share with you is that when we have people taking our Coach Approach course, we have people who come back and repeat it more than one time, oftentimes because they want to go deeper with the learning. We also have people who've gone through Coach Approach who've done other high-level leadership programs. We've had people who've gone through Disney's training in customer service and in leadership and gone through our Coach Approach and said, this is unlike anything I've ever done before. One of our clients, team members said, Coach Approach exceeded every expectation. Her quote was, I had no idea how much I would grow. Having my employer invest in this experience for me was more rewarding and impactful than I ever anticipated. It's changed how I show up at work and beyond. And by the way, we often hear a lot about how employees who've gone through the Coach Approach program are taking these skills home and sharing them with their children and their spouses, and it's changing family dynamics for the better. So when you're thinking about, what can I do to make my business better? I would strongly encourage you to take a look at the Coach Approach. Registration is open. We are going to kick off a new cohort in July. Head on over to tapthepotential.com/coach approach. Get yourself and at least one other team member signed up. And by the way, we give a savings for multiple team members going through, so be sure you check that out as well. Thanks for spending time with me here today.